The silence in the conference room was suffocating. My hands were shaking under the table, heart pounding so loud I barely heard my boss say the words, "We're letting you go." Just 2 days earlier, I'd landed our biggest deal of the year. Now I was being tossed aside like garbage for doing the right thing. Before we dive in, where are you listening from? And what time is it for you right now? Drop a comment below. I read everyone. Help us reach 10,000 subscribers before the end of the month. I made a promise to my dog. Once we hit 10K, I'll buy him a brand new cooling mat. He's counting on you, and so am I. So if you enjoyed the story, please hit that subscribe button. My name is Logan Barrett. I'm 35, direct to a fault, and I made a career out of solving impossible problems until the day integrity got me fired. Logan, just say you misunderstood the terms. Those were the exact words my boss, Vincent Doyle, whispered to me before the pitch meeting. My stomach flipped. He wanted me to lie to the client we'd spent 6 months courting, just to get a signature on the dotted line. We were on the 32nd floor of the high-rise downtown, in the glass conference room with views so sharp they looked fake. Vince had his gold cufflinks on, which he only wore when something shady was going down. I should have seen it coming. The client, a biotech firm with a brilliant no-BS CEO named Samantha Kwan, had one condition: transparency around our AI's training data. Not a big ask. But our product team had rushed the back end, and Vince knew it. I told him we needed 2 more weeks to scrub and document everything. Instead, he wanted me to sell vapor. So I didn't lie. I told Samantha the truth. We need 2 weeks to clean the data pipeline properly. After that, we'll give you a full transparency report. Open access. There was a pause. Then she smiled. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear. We got the contract anyway, or so I thought. Fast forward 2 days. Friday morning, 9:17 a.m., I'm called into HR. The head of people is already in the room. Vince is leaning back in a chair, sipping espresso like he's on vacation. I barely sit down before he says, "Logan, unfortunately, we've decided to terminate your employment effective immediately." What? My voice cracked. After we just landed the biggest client this quarter? We've reviewed internal communications. There were discrepancies in your messaging to the client, which could have jeopardized the deal. It's a matter of trust, Logan. I looked at the HR rep. She wouldn't meet my eyes. But here's what Vince didn't know. I had recorded that conversation. The one where he told me to lie. The one where I refused. The one where he threatened to cut me out of the big win if I didn't play along. I didn't plan to use it. I just recorded it because I knew something felt off. But now? Now I had a decision to make. Do I walk away quietly, or do I light the whole damn thing on fire? I sat in my car for an hour after they fired me. Didn't cry, didn't scream. Just stared at the steering wheel, replaying the last week like a broken reel. My backpack was on the passenger seat, stuffed hastily with the contents of my desk, a couple of notebooks, the company laptop, which I'd already wiped, and the tiny cactus Jenna from QA gave me last Christmas. It had a Post-it still stuck to the pot. Keep thriving. You're the realest one here. I laughed. Then I got angry. I wasn't even mad about losing the job. It was what the job had turned into. What I let it turn me into. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being the guy who loved building clean systems and started being the guy who kept his mouth shut when executives played dirty. Not this time. I plugged my phone into the charger and pulled up the voice memo. January 9th, 7:42 a.m. Just say you misunderstood. I hit play. Vince's voice poured through the speakers. You don't need to explain the back end, Logan. They're buying the pitch, not the guts. Vince, we told them full transparency. We're not there yet. Then tell them you thought it was done. It's a white lie. You do want the bonus, right? I'm not lying to her. I'm not lying to anyone. Okay, well, if that's the hill you want to die on. I paused it there. My hand was still on the screen, hovering. This wasn't just about me anymore. If he did this to me, he'd do it to someone else. And Samantha, the client who trusted me, she was walking into a deal built on quicksand. If I didn't say something, I was complicit. So I made a list. Just 3 names. Samantha Kwan, CEO of the biotech firm. The one who asked for transparency. Nate Robles, a junior dev who knew the backend wasn't compliant and had raised it weeks ago, then mysteriously got benched. Maya Serrano, legal counsel, and one of the only execs who ever told Vince no to his face. I texted Maya, "Need 10 minutes, off the record. It's about Vince and the Kwan deal. You'll want to hear this." She replied in 2 minutes. Starbucks by Civic Center. 1 baje dopeher. When I got there, she was already sipping something green and dangerous looking. She looked up and just said, "Talk." I played the recording. Halfway through, she took her sunglasses off. By the end, she said, "You know this could ruin you, right?" "Maybe," I said, "but it'll ruin him more." She leaned back. "Send me a copy. I'll handle the rest internally." "Not yet. I want Samantha to hear it first." Maya raised an eyebrow. "You're going direct to the client?" "Not to hurt the company. To protect her." She nodded slowly. "You've got bigger balls than I thought." But the truth was, I didn't feel brave. I felt scared out of my mind, like I was threading a needle through a landmine. Still, I left that cafe with one thing I hadn't had in days. A plan! I hadn't slept in 36 hours. It wasn't adrenaline, it was clarity, the kind that only shows up when everything's been taken from you, and you've got nothing left to lose. I was running on cold purpose now. At 8:03 a.m. the next morning, I sent a message to Samantha Kwan's executive assistant. Straightforward, professional, just enough to raise eyebrows. Subject: Urgent. Information regarding data integrity on recent contract. Hi Dana, I'm reaching out as the former solutions lead from Corvexa. There's information regarding the back-end compliance that Samantha should be aware of. I understand the legal and ethical implications, which is why I've taken steps to protect both myself and your team. Please let me know if Samantha is available for a short call. Best, Logan Barrett. The reply came 47 minutes later. Samantha is available for a 15-minute call today at 2 p.m. Is this line secure? My heart rate spiked. I typed back, "Yes, I'll call in then." At exactly 2 p.m., I was pacing my tiny apartment, staring out the window at a rainy San Francisco skyline. I hit dial. She picked up on the second ring. "Logan." Her voice was steady, sharp, same as I remembered. "I was surprised to hear from you. Noticed you're no longer at Corvexa." I wasted no time. "I have a recording of Vince Doyle instructing me to lie to you about our back-end compliance. I refused. 2 days later, I was fired for jeopardizing the deal." A long pause. "You recorded him?" "Yes, I didn't intend to use it, but now, I think you deserve to know what kind of deal you're walking into." "Play it." I pressed play on speaker and held it up to the mic. "Just say you misunderstood the terms. They're buying the pitch, not the guts." "You do want the bonus, right?" I stopped it there. There was no sound on the line, not even breathing. Then, "Send me the file." "I will," I said. "But I want to make one thing clear. I'm not doing this out of spite. I believed in that project. Still do. But Vince is gutting the soul of that company from the inside out." "You're not the first person to say that," she replied coolly, "but you're the first who came with proof." There was a ping on my laptop. A new email from her assistant. Samantha's direct line. Encrypted file drop. NDA to protect me as a whistleblower. She wasn't playing around. And neither was Vince, because not 5 minutes later my phone rang again. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail, but the transcript came through before the beep ended. Logan, it's Vince. I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is a very bad idea. You're bitter, fine. But involving clients? This can come back to haunt you. Hard. Let's talk before you do something stupid. I stared at the screen, bile rising in my throat. Then another message. This time text only. Logan, is this a threat? I almost laughed. No, Vince, it's a mirror. And the cracks were starting to show. The thing about narcissists like Vince? They never expect the blowback. They think they're 10 steps ahead, but they've been playing the same dirty playbook for so long, they forget someone might actually read it. After his, "Is this a threat?" text, I didn't respond. I didn't need to. By 9 a.m. the next morning, the shockwave had already started. Samantha had looped in her legal team and paused all movement on the Corvexa contract. That meant frozen revenue projections, stalled investor briefings, and an emergency board meeting for Vince, who was probably still clinking glasses thinking I'd back down. At 10:17 a.m., I got a call from Maya Serrano. No hello, just, Logan. What the hell did you send them? Truth, I said, something the company's been short on. You just triggered a clause in their contract proposal, she said breathlessly. Client-side fraud detection. Any deliberate misrepresentation during the pre-signing period voids the entire agreement and opens us up to litigation. My breath caught. I hadn't even thought that far ahead. So now what? I asked. Now, she said, now they're going to burn Vince alive. Click. I stared at my phone, heart pounding. Half of me was reeling, and the other half felt something I hadn't felt in months. Free. By noon, the first domino fell. An anonymous post hit blind, Corvexa exec caught coaching employee to mislead major client. Fired him when he refused. Recording exists. 10 minutes later, someone forwarded me an internal company memo. Vince was taking an immediate leave of absence. Effective today. The tone was pure HR Botox. Smooth, sterile, hiding the panic underneath. And then, the wildest thing happened. At 3:42 p.m., my LinkedIn inbox exploded. Recruiters, journalists, former coworkers I hadn't heard from in years. But one message stopped me cold. Nate Robles, the junior dev who Vince had sidelined for raising the same data concerns I had, sent me a DM. Dude, I don't know what you did, but you're a damn hero over here. The whole dev floor is buzzing. For what it's worth, I documented everything I found too, and I still have it. I felt a grin creep across my face. Receipts. We had receipts. Nate and I hopped on a call that night. We talked like survivors of the same shipwreck, piecing together timelines, backing each other's stories, stacking evidence like ammo. He had emails, Slack screenshots, Jira tickets that got mysteriously deleted after being flagged executive sensitive. It wasn't just a bad call Vince had made. It was a cover-up, a pattern, and now it was a case. The next morning, Maya called me again, this time from her personal number. I want to show you something, she said, but it has to be off the record. What is it? An email Vince sent the board. He tried to pin the whole thing on you, said you went rogue. My stomach clenched. And they didn't buy it, because I showed them your recording, and Nate's documentation. Silence. Then she said, they're considering legal action, not against you, against him. I nearly dropped the phone. For the first time, it wasn't just about getting revenge. It was about making it right. 3 weeks after I got fired, I walked back into Corvex's headquarters, not as an employee, but as a key witness. I wore the same blazer I had on the day they canned me, like some petty poetic uniform. Same scuffed boots, same quiet rage. But this time, I didn't feel small. This time they were nervous. Security signed me in without eye contact. The elevator felt slower than usual. Or maybe that was just my heartbeat. When the doors opened on the executive floor, I saw Maya already waiting. She didn't smile. She just gave me a tight nod and said, "They want you in the room." The room was a glass-walled conference chamber I'd only ever been in once, during my onboarding tour 5 years ago. It had always seemed like a throne room for kings who'd never written a line of code in their life. Now, it was filled with board members, lawyers, 2 auditors, and one very pale HR director who wouldn't meet my eyes. Vince wasn't there. They'd relieved him of his duties pending further investigation. That was code for, we just realized who the real cancer is. The board chair, a silver-haired woman named Adrienne Liao, gestured toward the head of the table. "Mr. Barrett, thank you for agreeing to speak with us today. We're looking to understand what happened from your perspective. In your words." So I told them. About the lie Vince wanted me to tell. About the pressure, the threats, the deal I tried to preserve with integrity, and the punishment I got for not playing dirty. Then I played the recording. Again. I saw jaws tighten. Pens stop moving. After it ended, Adrian looked straight at me. "Why didn't you come to us sooner?" I hesitated. Because I didn't think anyone would listen. She nodded slowly, absorbing that. "And yet, you still chose to protect the client. Because the product still mattered. The people who built it mattered. We deserved better than him." She glanced at the legal team, then back to me. "We're grateful you came forward. And we'd like to make you an offer." My brain scrambled for context. "Offer?" Adrienne continued, calm but serious. "We're restructuring leadership, effective immediately, and we're assembling a special ethics and compliance review team. People with both technical insight and moral spine. We want you on it." My mouth went dry. "You want me to come back?" "Not to the same role, to a better one. One that changes how this company operates at the root." I didn't answer right away. I couldn't. There was a knot in my chest. Something like pride, disbelief, and a tiny voice screaming, "Hell yes." But another voice whispered, "Don't forget what this place did to you." So I asked the one question I needed answered. Would I report to anyone who ever enabled Vince? Adrian smiled, not kindly, but with the cold precision of someone who just cleaned house. "Number, you'd report directly to me." I leaned back in my chair, stunned. "You don't have to answer now," she added. "But Logan, you were the only one in that whole damn building who told the truth when it mattered." And in that moment, I realized something. I hadn't just survived. I'd earned leverage, and I didn't say yes right away. I walked out of that boardroom, past the rows of sleek desks and hushed employees, and rode the elevator down 28 floors like I was surfacing from deep water. When I hit the sidewalk, I just stood there for a moment, face tilted up, breathing in the sunlight like it was my first taste of real air in weeks. Corvexa wanted me back. Not just back, above. But I'd spent too long trying to belong to a place that only valued silence. I couldn't just walk back in without asking myself, was I going back to rebuild or to redeem something that was never mine to begin with? I called my sister that night. She's a nurse, the kind of person who doesn't blink around blood or bullshit. "They want me to help clean it up," I told her. She didn't even pause. Then make sure they give you gloves and the scalpel." She was right. So I sent Adrian a reply the next morning. "I'll take the role, under 3 conditions: full authority over ethics review hiring, a seat at all quarterly strategic planning meetings, not as a figurehead. Vince's internal enablers? I want them audited, publicly." She replied within the hour. Just 1 sentence. Done. Let's build something real. The months that followed were a blur. I hired people like Nate, the ones who'd been ignored, overlooked, or gaslit into thinking they were troublemakers for simply telling the truth. We rewrote the vendor protocols from the ground up. We implemented a red flag system where anonymous employee concerns triggered automatic reviews. No more gatekeeping by the corrupt. Maya joined us too. She left legal and became our chief integrity officer. Said it was the first time in her career she felt like she wasn't just cleaning up messes, but preventing them. As for Vince, he tried to resign gracefully. The board didn't let him. Turns out Nate's documentation, and mine, painted a neat little picture of years-long misconduct. The SEC is still sniffing around, last I heard. His NDA doesn't mean much when fraud's on the table. Samantha Kwan? She stayed with us. After I showed her the new protocols, she said something I'll never forget. "You finally made the tech match the pitch." It hit me harder than I expected. Because in the end, I didn't just get justice. I got to build the company I thought I was joining in the first place. Now I walk into that same building every morning, not with fear, but with purpose. And every time someone tries to spin, deflect, or bury the truth, I remember what Vince said to me the day he fired me. "You're not cutthroat enough for this place." Turns out he was right. I was better than that. And now, I don't play their game. This time I write the rules.